Hello my arties and welcome to Windchime Studio. For this video I'm doing 3 different stenciling techniques that I have developed or discovered through messing around with stencils. This first technique I'm using a Distress crayon by Tim Holtz through the stencil. And what I love about this is I can be arty, be artistic with my colors, where I put my colors, blending from one color to another. Now blending this out with the tiniest bit of water in a makeup wedge. So blending it out to fill the stencil opening shape. Now on this top area here, I am blending the Distressed Crayon with gesso instead of water. And I like it. It gives it a little dimension and it looks like brick. So I did it down here, and I did the colors much heavier with the Distress crayon, really put in a lot of color, and found that the more that I worked it with my finger, the better that color went into the gesso, mixed into the gesso, so it's a more saturated color and a darker color. So this next technique, I'm doing alcohol ink on wax paper. So this is eggplant, and then I'll be using cranberry alcohol ink. And then I'm misting it with alcohol and laying a stencil down on top. So the idea is that the ink will spread out where the plastic of the stencil is making contact with the paper. So without sliding the stencil around, I'm just working it. And I tried to pick that up where it was leaking over into the stencil openings, but it wouldn't come up with a baby wipe. Now that did stain that stencil, so I thought I would try it with something disposable. And I used more ink here, a little more generous with the ink, because I knew that there would be less contact with the stenciling item and the paper to spread it around. You can see that ink is moving along those lines of the non-slip pad a little bit. I added some more alcohol misting through that so it would spread better. So here I have a page. I already have the first layer of stamp pad ink through a stencil, and I'm putting gesso, putting kind of these fan-shaped strokes, and purposely not having a smooth, complete coverage. So I wanted some of that first layer to peek through. So on this stencil, that's my swirly dots stencil, I didn't clean it from the last time I used it, and I'm doing it with that ink side down to see if that ink would come off and mix with the gesso. I'm just pushing this down so it really makes good contact with the paper, and then the gesso is oozing up into the openings of the stencil shapes. But where the plastic of the stencil has contact with the gesso, you get this wonderful kind of organic pulling away kind of erosion, little rivulets of erosion it looks like. So I waited for it to dry, and you can't really see that texture so much. The idea was then to apply color. So here's some stamp pad ink on a baby white, and it didn't really work. It just went on evenly. It didn't emphasize the texture the way I hoped that it would. So I switched to watercolor, and I imagine you could use any water-based color or watercolor or pigment powders that you spray. So now you're starting to see that the color is emphasizing the texture, and with this blue color you can see it better. It's revealing the texture in the gesso. And then I just really had fun in making this abstract image with blending colors, and it kind of ended up looking like boulders at the edge of a body of water, and you have little pools of water among the boulders. So I waited for it to dry. Now I'm using a baby wipe to take some of that color back up. I'm trying to just hit the peaks. There's peaks and valleys in the texture. And now I'm using a Q-tip, and I'm finding those oval shapes from the original stencil and pulling the color back up where it's nice and smooth, because that's where the opening of the stencil was. It's kind of like this archaeological dig to find these original shapes. And since this is watercolor on top of gesso, it's easy to pull the most of the paint back up. It just leaves a little bit of paint, which is nice. So it's this organic look, and then it adds interest to what I already have going with the texture and the color. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this video. You can see more of my art journal pages on my blog, and you can buy my stencils at my Etsy store.